Hello, everybody. Revolver Guy prepping for poor people. And yes, it is Revolver Guy. There's my EDC, my everyday carry. That is a Taurus 692 357 Magnum. Great little gun. Picked it up just a few months ago. And maybe I'm not a big review guy, but maybe one day I'll have to review that. That is a fine little weapon. Anyway, today what I want to talk about was all the things going on in this world. Obviously, everybody knows about it. We've got the coronavirus. We've got these riots. We've got all these protests and all this division in this country. And I wanted everybody just to think for a minute. I could be wrong, but the point I'm trying to make with this video is maybe the far left does have a little bit of a point. Now, I don't agree with them. I don't agree with the rioting. I don't agree with the Chaz and taking over some city blocks. I don't agree with that at all. But what they're fighting for is, to them, they're fighting against the system. And all of us should be fighting against the system. This system is broken, folks. It is. It is for the elite. It is for the rich. While the rest of us peasants work 50, 60 hours a week just to scratch out a living. So I kind of understand what they're doing there in terms of wanting equality. A lot of them are misguided. A lot of them say, well, we need racial equality because the police are killing blacks, and all these great numbers. And the statistics just prove that's not true. While, yes, there are some bad cops, and there probably are some racist cops. There are racist people everywhere, unfortunately. But statistically speaking, that just isn't so. A lot of times they get caught up in their emotions, and they get, and what they really need to stop and think about is what they're doing. They're trying to fight a system that is broken, a system that is against all of us, not just them. This system is against every hardworking American, and actually any person all over the world that is not a rich, elite, powerful person. And I don't care what party you come from, what political affiliation you are. It's just a fact. It's and it's a sad one. And until we take over this corrupt cog that we have, and until we finally say enough is enough, it's just going to keep getting worse and worse. I mean, you look, the richest 1% are getting richer, and everybody else is just getting poorer. Sure, they throw you a little bit of stimulus money. Here you go. Here's $1,200, and here's $500 for each child. There you go. Here's some unemployment. Don't worry about your job. And really, what they're giving you is peanuts, because they're making billions upon billions of dollars at our expense, unfortunately. So like I say, I don't agree with all this violence and the looting and burning and murdering and everything they're doing, but I do kind of see where they're coming from. The system is broken, and that's like the whole thing to defund the police. I think a lot of them are running around thinking, yeah, no cops, no cops, no cops. Well, that's ridiculous. We have to have some semblance of law and order. However, I'm not against moving some of that money. This is taxpayer money. And unfortunately, it's going to be spent somewhere, because these politicians are going to steal every dime of it if they can. But I'm not against maybe reallocating some of that money around, putting in some different programs, doing some different stuff, because police officers should not be answering every single call that comes into them. Most of this stuff is just ridiculous, petty stuff. The whole George Floyd thing, honestly, if the guy was trying to pass a $20 bill that was counterfeit, that's a federal crime anyway. Ticket the guy and let him go. I just don't understand why there's so much insistence on let's make arrests, let's You know, and then, I mean, you have a lot of small things that happen that turn into big things because a lot of people don't like authority. Well, I'll tell you the truth. You know, I don't blame them. I don't like authority either. Not from my government, because my government does not have authority over me whatsoever. You know, the government is supposed to be of the people and by the people, for the people. They work for us. But just, and that, to me, that's the biggest injustice with the whole George Floyd thing. Yes, him dying was terrible. There's no reason for that officer to have his knee on that guy's neck for 8 or 9 minutes. I mean, that's just ridiculous. There's no excuse for it. There's no way he can say, well, I have good reason. There's no reason for it. But then again, you have another situation which just happened in Atlanta with the guy that was sitting at the Wendy's drive-thru and was drunk, passed out. And when the police arrived, they had good reason to deal with that situation because he obviously was driving drunk, so he was obviously a danger to people. So, and whether people want to like it or not, the guy took their taser, ran away from them. They gave chase. He turned, fired the taser towards him, towards the officers, and the officer returned fire. 2 shots, bam, bam, guy went down. It's not like they were trying to just find a way to kill this guy. You cannot allow a suspect to take your taser and use it on you, because at that point you become incapacitated and he can then take your firearm from you. So anytime there's a firearm involved, and when it comes to a police officer, there's always a firearm involved. You know, that does change things, you know, in this political BS that they're doing, where they've charged this officer with murder. It's just ridiculous. It really is. George Floyd, that was a different story. So I guess, folks, what I'm trying to say, I'll wrap it up here, is I do understand a little bit of where they're coming from. And until we, as a country, unite with each other and decide that we're not going to allow these elites, these super rich and everything, just to keep getting richer and keep dividing us, until we decide to stop that, this country will never get better. I'm praying for it every day. Thank you for watching, and remember, all gun laws are unconstitutional.